So this is the weekend. Once a year on this weekend, I always hear from my 8th grade gym coach. I can't believe the guy is still alive. Because he was an old man when I was in high school.
This damn story.
It's true.
Oh, you know, it's
Yes.
It's true.
Fill me in. I need to hear it, Yo-Yo.
Okay,
I don't know it.
I've told Yo-Yo because it's every time this weekend coming up. You've never heard this story before.
I've heard this story.
The first time I'm here on this weekend.
Right. So I hear from my 8th grade gym coach. He leaves a message for me. He says, Brad, this is Mr. O'Brien. I know you haven't heard from me in a long time. Just reminding you to push forward your clock. It's daylight savings time this weekend. Oh. The guy sends me the message every week. Mr. O'Brien, I know already. I'm 51 years old. You don't need to tell me anymore.
Well, I didn't know.
You did not know?
So I'm glad he's telling you so you can tell me.
I am going to text Mr. O'Brien your telephone number. He can start calling you. Meanwhile, yes, at 2 a.m. on Sunday. At 2 a.m. on Sunday, the clocks will spring forward an hour, turning 1:59 into 3 a.m. We skip 1 full hour. I was making a joke with Julie earlier today when she was telling me it was daylight savings time. I said, I haven't heard from Mr. O'Brien yet. Julie told me first. Okay. But I said, wow, that's amazing. Because now that's 1 less hour on Sunday we can catch coronavirus. It's great. So we can only catch coronavirus on Sunday for only 23 hours and not 24.
Slow risk.
Yes, but we're going to lose an hour of sleep. Yo-Yo doesn't mind because he's not sleeping at 9J anyway, if you've ever checked out his Instagram story. Interestingly, the Department of Transportation is in charge of daylight savings time in all time zones in the United States. And the Department of Transportation says, quote, on their website, the oversight of time zones was assigned to the Department of Transportation because time standards are important for many modes of transportation. Now, the Department of Transportation says daylight savings is observed because it saves energy, saves lives, prevents traffic accidents, reduces crime, and that's all they have.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess reduces crime because there's more daylight time. Crime happens at night. More.
Oh, okay.
That's at least the theory. I don't know if that's true or not. It's also a crime deterrent because people are out during the daylight and not at night when more crimes occur. Aha! You just got to keep reading.
There it is.
All right. So not everyone agrees with daylight savings time. However, there are some scientists out there who report that switching time saves energy on lighting but is surpassed by increases in heating and air conditioning. And it also screws with your sleep.
That's the part that I hate about daylight savings. Don't mess with my sleep.
Now, there are some areas that do not spring forward.
Oh.
Arizona.
Wait, what?
Yes. Hawaii, American Samoa, Guam, Puerto Rico, and the U.S. Virgin Islands do not spring forward.
How is that?
Mr. O'Brien, next year I will be living in Arizona. There is no need to call me.
But how is that?
Because the states decide they don't want to do it.
This has always been the case?
Yes.
So
Meanwhile...
so does that change the time difference?
Yes.
Though?
Yeah. So now right now, for example, New York is, I believe,
like
3 hours. 3 hours ahead of Arizona, but next week we will be 4 hours.
Really?
Right? Ahead
Well,
of
that's
Arizona.
almost. Does that explain? Isn't it like in like Louisiana too? We're gonna have to do some research.
I didn't even know that. I thought everybody did it.
Right. Does that explain?
It's always an hour behind.
Does that explain why the
remember.
Sasquatch is only seen in the summer?
There's a lot of questions being asked
questions
here.
I don't know. Because the Sasquatch is only out in the summer.
This is why we shouldn't take time for granted.
Right. The Sasquatch is never seen in the winter. Only in the summer. I don't know why. The U.S. first implemented daylight savings time during which period? Man in the street question, Yo-Yo. That's quick.
But the man on the street usually gives multiple choice answers.
Okay, all right. Multiple choice, multiple choice.
I'm a multiple choice kind of girl. I like options.
The United States first implemented daylight savings time during which war? Was it A, the War of 1812, B,
no one cared.
the Civil War, C, the Spanish-American War, D, World War I?
World War I.
Yeah, World War I. I was hoping there would be a World War II in there.
It is World War I.
Yeah.
Correct.
Had to be. Can you imagine? Did folks even really have clocks in all the other wars?
Okay, so one of the reasons, by the way, why we like to call ourselves geniuses is because none of us realized that when I said we spring ahead and Arizona would be 4 hours behind, in fact, it would only be 2 hours behind. Julie corrected us. We do not know how. We do not know how to add.
Well, we didn't say we were mathematicians on this show, did we?
Meanwhile, let me give you an update on the coronavirus as of 1 p.m. today.
Oh, wow. Okay. So the latest of the
the latest. As of 1 p.m. today, we had our cleaning crew come into the Spar and Bernstein's offices. We Cloroxed everything down.
Good.
Okay, and we will be Cloroxing everything seriously.
Okay, I was going to ask. I hope you're serious.
No, I'm serious. We decided as a group that every day we're going to Clorox down the entire office, doorknobs, seats, tables, desks, computer keyboards, and phones, and hope we can keep that coronavirus out of here. Right now, there are 240 confirmed cases in the United States across 19 states.
More every day.
Yeah, I was walking around and I kept going. I was making a joke to people. I was going around and I go, "Smell that Clorox? Doesn't it smell great?" Right. But when you know it's killing when it's killing the coronavirus.
Listen, the train stations smell great now.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, really? I haven't taken the subway.
It smells like fabuloso everywhere.
Wow.
Like fabuloso.
So more than 100,600 people have been infected worldwide. 3,400 have sadly died. So we shouldn't joke about the coronavirus.
Yeah.
3,500 people are on board the Princess Cruise's Grand Princess, a cruise that went to, I think, San Francisco to Hawaii and back. And now somebody got sick on that cruise, and now they are not allowing that cruise to dock in San Francisco.
Damn.
Medical personnel have tested now 45 people who have either exhibited symptoms or have been on a previous voyage with a 71-year-old man who recently died from the disease. So now they are helicoptering down food to the Princess, and 3,500 people are stranded off the coast of San Francisco, and the United States is not allowing that boat to land.
That's so many people.
Wait, the boat was coming from where?
Hawaii.
It left San Francisco, and I think it went to Hawaii and back.
Oh.
Wow.
Right, on a 2-week cruise.
Well, that boat that ship can sit right there.
Listen,
my mom actually is in San Francisco for the weekend.
I'm gonna tell you something. I mean, cruises are nice. You couldn't get me on a cruise ship right now. It seems like every other cruise ship
that's coming in.
It's coming somebody's sick on that thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now Donald Trump has signed an $8.3 billion spending package to combat the spread of the coronavirus. But you know, money talks and bullshit walks, right? Mm-hmm. You ever hear that saying?
Yes.
Yep.
So there's no better barometer of bullshit and what people think is really happening than if you look at the stock market. Because people are putting their money where their mouth is. And Donald Trump is saying, don't worry, there's nothing wrong, coronavirus isn't coming here. But nobody is buying it. The stock market dropped again precipitously today.
Oh, wow.
It's down almost 20% in the last several weeks. It is now reaching recession levels.
Uh-oh.
Okay? And they say once it hits 20%, we are officially in a recession. So people do not believe what Donald Trump is saying. What Donald Trump is saying, don't worry, people are putting their money where their mouth is.
Wow.
Now, in New York, 2,733 people are currently under quarantine.
In New York?
In New York.
2,000?
2,733 people.
All these numbers come from?
And by the way, not in New York State, in New York City.
Yeah, that's what I thought I heard.
Yes. Mayor de Blasio said that both critical patients had underlying conditions that could make the virus even more dangerous to them. 4,000 people are under precautionary quarantine in the entire state. Most of those under self-quarantine have recently returned from 5 countries where the outbreak was most severe: China, Italy, Iran, South Korea, and Japan. The city is aggressively monitoring the 2,773 people who have self-quarantined. the disclosure of 11 new cases in New Jersey.
Wow.
Just recently, comes
There's 2,000 in
as
New York
two
City.
likely cases, including the first positive test, a 32-year-old man from Fort Lee, New Jersey, who has been hospitalized since Tuesday. Is that anywhere near you?
That is very near
Yes.
me.
Oh, hey.
Now, the latest cases illustrate how the authorities still know little about how long the virus has been present here or how many people are really infected.
Oy.
Now, Dr. Michael Phillips, the chief hospital epidemiologist for New York University Langone Health System, said in an interview Wednesday that as local capacity to test for the virus expands, we will learn a lot more. Now, recently, Donald Trump said this week that we're going to be able to test over 100,000 people in the United States by today. And Mike Pence has said, no, that's not going to happen. They just don't have the testing equipment, which is why they are saying to people, don't go to the emergency room if you think you have the flu or the cold, unless you are feeling really ill and it's really an emergency to go get tested. Because two things, most likely you have the flu, the cold, or even just seasonal allergies.
Right.
Okay? And you're going to now sit in an emergency room where sitting next to somebody who may be sick with coronavirus.
Yeah.
But if you are feeling ill beyond a common cold feeling, then you obviously should go get tested. They just don't have enough testing equipment at the moment.
Kind of scary.
Yeah. Now, what are they saying about the subway? Let me tell you what they're saying about
What
the
are they
subway.
You who can
They
be on
said
the
the
subway.
Metropolitan Transportation Authority, this is the subway in New York City, this is the authority that oversees the subway, buses, the commuter rails. They said they have disinfected the entire system every 72 hours. Now, health officials have warned that the virus seems to spread easily, traveling through tiny air droplets produced when a sick person breathes, talks, coughs, or sneezes. The subway, according to many scientists, poses the highest risk of where a person can contract coronavirus. But epidemiologists said the risk of transmission connected to using public transit is very hard to accurately assess. So some people are saying, holy, you know what, don't go in the subway. Others are like, we have no idea.
Right.
Okay. Now, Dr. Stephen Morse, an epidemiology professor at the Mailman School of Public Health at Columbia University, said that generally speaking, two main factors determine the likelihood of contracting a virus: how crowded is the place, and how much time you're spending there. So if you're in a crowded subway, theoretically, and you're in rush hour, and the subway is grinding to a halt, and you're shoulder to shoulder with people, you are more likely to catch coronavirus if somebody in that car has it. Now, New Yorkers do tend to spend less time on the subways and buses than other people in other cities. But Dr. Morse says the risk on public transportation is probably as high or as any other high-density setting, but the time of exposure is shorter because you're not really in the subway for that long. But I don't know. People are in the subway for an hour. So I'm not sure what he's saying.
Yeah.
And then like with them talking about, they like clean it every 72 hours and stuff. I mean, it takes 2 minutes for one person to touch the rail that got it and then walk away and then another person touch it. Like,
Well, let me say this. Okay, now you see what you're doing right now. Go to Yo-Yo. What were you just doing, Yo-Yo?
touching.
And then what? What'd you do after?
Touch my face.
Exactly.
I always do that too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What you need to
Good
do.
catch, Uncle Brad.
Okay. Yo-Yo went to touch the rail, and then he was talking about it and started touching his face.
Yeah.
The act of touching the handle is not going to give you coronavirus.
Just
coronavirus.
touching your face,
It's you
like
touch the
cold.
handle, and now you've touched your face.
Yeah, I tend to
That's
touch
how
my
the
face a lot, too.
coronavirus.
Yeah.
Okay. What I read.
Or even like your nose, if you do
Correct.
this.
Yeah.
Correct.
Or oof,
Now-
your eye.
Now, if
your
if you're
eyes.
going to be in the subway and you feel the need, because you're a twitchy person, like baby boy over here. Are you twitchy?
When I think about it, see, like now.
Yeah,
that I'm
just
thinking
now,
about it,
right.
Like,
Right. Now you got me itchy now, so I'm starting to touch my own face. I'm just
Right.
watching you. It's like it's but when
Contagious.
it's contagious, like the coronavirus.
Right.
But
Right, literally.
what I read, I don't know if this will work or not, but obviously you carry around Perel, but we've talked about it like it's hundreds of dollars now. But what I also read is carry around tissues. So if you feel the need after you've touched something to touch your face,
get
a tissue out, and let the tissue touch your face with your fingers behind it.
That's smart.
And then that is less likely to get the coronavirus on your face.
Yeah.
Just gotta think about it though now. Like,
now
you have to remember.
Now, Mike Pence says that your health insurance is going to pay, once they get these coronavirus tests out, if you're feeling sick, that they're going to pay for your coronavirus test. Let's watch what Mike Pence had to say.
HHS has designated the coronavirus test as an essential health benefit. That means, by definition, it's covered in the private health insurance of every American, as well as covered by Medicare and Medicaid.
Now, it's unlikely, however, that a patient is only going to receive one test for coronavirus. A doctor may take an X-ray after they take the coronavirus test to see that if you have fluid building up in your lungs. They may take a bacterial test for pneumonia, a viral test for the flu. They may take your blood. So after you get the coronavirus test, which will be covered, you have to also question, what about all these additional tests you're giving me? Will that be covered as well?
Wow. And that's where the trap is.
That's where the trap is, right? Always, even with coronavirus, they're out to make a buck.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
They're out to make a buck. So this'll make you feel really special.
Thank you.
The coronavirus is mutating. It's not enough that we got to fight the coronavirus, but now we've got to fight the mutated coronavirus.
Coronavirus
Yes.
2?
Now, it's right now, preliminary research shows that the coronavirus, it's called COVID-19, is mutating, and there's now two types of the virus. One of these is the aggressive strain, which has infected 70% of the people tested, while a less aggressive strain was linked to the rest. Scientists dub the aggressive strain the L type, and the less prevalent version, the S type. It's kind of like buying a car, I guess. You know, your L type, the sport or the long-wheeled version.
Base or sport.
Right. They also cautioned that the data they had available for study was very limited. I'm not exactly sure what this means, other than if it's mutating, they're going to have a much harder time either coming up with a vaccine or a cure for this, because they have to now fight multiple viruses.
Now, do you think that people will be more passive, like, oh, I don't have the coronavirus that really, like, where you're really sick. I have like level 1 coronavirus.
I don't know. You got like the L. I got the long wheel version.
Oh, you got the L. Like,
you got the L.
Oh my goodness.
Damn, I only got the S. Like, what? No,
I don't wish it upon anyone, any letter, A,
right.
B, C, nothing,
Yeah,
none of it.
Meanwhile, Donald Trump,
There you go.
he says he's going to shake people's hands. He doesn't care about the coronavirus.
Good.
He's
Let him
immune
get
to
it.
Him and Baby Boy.
Both of us are immune to
You
it.
can go shake his hands.
So he's not elbowing?
He's not elbowing.
Well, I'm still elbowing.
Now, Trump in a town hall meeting in Scranton, Pennsylvania, which is the home of Joe Biden.
Look at his face.
So he went to Scranton, Pennsylvania, just to like kind of shove it up Joe Biden's, tuchus. Like, I'm going to do my town hall meeting in his hometown. Is he blowing you a kiss?
Does Donald Trump not have a country to does he have nothing better to do but just pop up on like Joe Biden, like
Joe Biden's hometown, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was asked.
Jerk.
He was asked in Joe Biden's hometown if he's changing any of his habits. Let's watch.
If there was ever a time that you could convince people not to shake hands, this could be it. Okay, this could be it. I love the people of this country. You can't be a politician and shake hands.
Now, meanwhile, on Wednesday, he tried to explain what he called a hunch that the World Health Organization has overestimated the fatality rate, because he's saying a lot of people are walking around sick and don't realize that they have it. But he doesn't really know. The problem is, nobody really knows what's going on. I have friends, for example, who say they have no problem getting in a plane. They have no problem going on the subway. They have no problem traveling. They would even travel to Italy. They don't have a problem with it because they think this is all overblown hype. There's other people I know who have bought the masks. They're hunkering down. They bought food for a month. They're hoarding cash in their apartment because they think this is going to be the end of the world. And everybody is all over the place. What do you think? Are you an end of the worlder, or are you just like, this is overblown?
I feel like it's important to take precautions, but I feel like this is just like any other infection or virus. We should have had this urgency in being on top of germs and all the other. I don't feel like the world's ending. We just have to be cautious.
Right, so you're more of Donald Trump in this particular case, because he says, I have a hunch this isn't as bad.
Nesquik and Donald Trump in the same sentence. That I don't like that.
All right.
I'm not saying that it's not important. It's for sure something that is important, but I don't want to live my life in fear. There, how's that?
Yo, what do you think?
I think that, like I said before, I think it's worse than what they're telling us.
And I think that unless you are elderly or a baby or you have a compromised immune system, if you get coronavirus, you're going to just get a bad cold.
Well, that's kind of how I feel about it.
So I'm not concerned about myself, but I am concerned about my friends who have babies. I'm concerned about the elderly. I'm concerned about my own parents, obviously, that they shouldn't get sick.
So that's where I stand on that. So let's say if I had a child, or if I had an infant and I was someone that commuted on the train every day, I would probably not commute on the train for some time.
But I still think that they're withholding information from us.
But I also think that we're going to know more Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I mean, there's a lot more we don't know. And I also think that whenever this coronavirus kind of subsides, we're going to be living with coronavirus year after year after year until they come up with a vaccine for it, just like they come up with a vaccine for the flu. And then a vaccine would only work if a vast majority, super majority of people actually take the vaccine. Mm-hmm. Because if a super majority of people don't take the vaccine, you're going to have a lot of carriers still giving it from one person to the next. The reason why some people say, well, I didn't get a vaccine, and look, I'm not sick. It's because 99% of the other people did, so there's nobody carrying it and giving it to you.
See, that's why I don't get no flu shot.
Right, because that's selfish. You just let the other people get the flu shot, and you're like, you know what, 99% of people got the flu shot, so I don't need it. I don't need it now.
I don't get the flu shot either.
No.
All right, so Yo-Yo, this goes to what you were talking about yesterday, about homemade remedies.
Yep.
Okay. So
I'm Dominican. My whole immune system's built off of home remedies.
So people are now washing their hands because the Perel is too expensive. It's actually cheaper to buy vodka in some places than it is to buy Perel hand sanitizer. So people are going out now on the shelves and buying vodka
and Popov
and to wash their hands and sanitize it. Now Tito's vodka has come out and said, do not use Tito's vodka to sanitize your hands.
Why?
Because
enough alcohol?
Because there is not enough alcohol in
Tito's
vodka.
is good vodka.
There's not enough alcohol in the vodka to kill all the germs.
Yeah.
What scientists say is that you need a solution that's at least 60% alcohol based.
And
to kill Tito's is 40.
Yeah.
What's that really cheap? There's this really cheap alcohol that like kids would Everclear. That stuff has to. Thanks, Jill. That was perfect. That's exactly what I was thinking of.
God, I almost threw up just
Everclear.
Memories.
That, and it's cheap.
I've never had Everclear.
That's probably like
because it's really cheap, horrible. That has to be over 60. It's terrible.
Uncle Brad would never drink Everclear. But I would tell you who would drink Everclear? Scruffy Brad. But by the way, I have an update for the Jill Biden slugfest yesterday that Boss Lady loved. Okay, Boss Lady said, that's my type of Boss Lady, where Jill Biden jumped in front of the protesters protesting dairy who rushed the stage, and Joe Biden looked like a
defending her man.
And Joe Biden looked like a frightened little sheep, right? Right, he looked like a frightened little lamb back there, and Joe Biden was like, "You get away!" And she was like, started to punch the people, right?
She was ready to.
So Yo-Yo said, what kind of thing is this? There was no Secret Service. That's the worst Secret Service ever, right? Mm-hmm. So I have an update to this.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Joe Biden does not have Secret Service yet. And the reason he does not have Secret Service yet is Secret Service only gets attached to the actual Democratic nominee.
So does he not have enough money to hire security?
Apparently not. He has been very low on money, but I would assume now that Bloomberg is backing him, that he will have security. So so Secret Service only gives him security once he is the Democratic nominee. Until then, he's just running for.
I actually meant to ask that when you mentioned that yesterday. Like, I wasn't familiar with that a candidate would have Secret Service. That makes a lot more sense.
But when I said Secret Service, I'm talking about like
just security.
You have rappers out there, you have actors out there that'll hire. You have people who aren't even like big public figures who will hire security.
But they don't have the money.
Yeah, but he doesn't need like a hardcore
the vice president.
Meanwhile, the incident has prompted a House committee Wednesday to urge the Department of Homeland Security to consider assigning protective details to Biden and Sanders as they battle for the Democratic nomination.
That's wild. You don't have no 95%.
There's 95% alcohol in Everclear.
Oh, so we
60% proof.
So we can buy Everclear in lieu of Perel. It's a lot cheaper.
And sing Happy Birthday.
And sing Happy Birthday. Happy birthday to me, Chuck. Would you? Let me ask you a question. Would you like wash your hands and then lick them after just to get?
No, that would kill the whole purpose of having
because you have the alcohol in your hands.
If you wash your hands,
right? Why would you waste good alcohol?
It's not good alcohol.
It's not.
You will end up with
It'll
nubs.
burn.
No, you will end up with nubs. You will wash your fingers off. Like Everclear, don't do it.
Thanks for watching. For more Brad Show Live, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.